Welcome to the Let It Bleed podcast, a place where you can hear the liquor-fueled ramblings of two narcissistic wizards who conjure the essence of inspirational people every week and bring it straight to you.
Just how do you plan on doing that? Magic.
No, have you seen Now for the Wizards themselves, David Amaya and Phil Arroyo?
Woody Harrelson is not the same in every movie.
He's kind of the same in every movie.
You know what? He's badass in every movie.
I mean,
he makes every movie that he's in a little bit better.
I mean, can you give me like two movies where he is drastically different and you have 4 seconds to answer?
Okay, Behind the Furnace, or what's that? Beyond the Furnace, the one with the fucking I forget the name of it. He's really good with that. And no, it's true. What's his name?
There probably is an answer to that.
Beyond the Furnace, and then Kingpin. Boom, two vastly different movies.
I've never seen Beyond the Furnace.
White Man Can't Jump and fucking Natural Born Killers. Two very
Natural Born Killers.
opposing.
Okay. I gotta give you that one.
Yeah. And in what's it called? 2013. Was that the one? Or no, 2012?
2012. How do you...
With fucking... Where he was... That was terrible part. He's like waiting for fucking Yellowstone to erupt right
movie,
there.
1998? Yeah, what was it called?
2000.
Yeah. Oh, that one. Yeah. No, where he was like a... We put that on for whatever reason. Because we couldn't figure out which one was like The Day After Tomorrow and which one was like 2012. And
both the same terrible shitty-ass movie.
Oh, yeah. It was garbage. I forgot he was in that as like some... I mean, like, I feel like he wasn't even, like, playing a character. He was just, like, some weird stoner, like, out in the woods.
Kinda. He was basically one of those doomsday, like, Armageddon-type prophecy people that would go and just spew a bunch of shit. And he was, like, waiting at Yellowstone when it, like, erupted. Because that was one of the things that was, like, the natural disaster that, of course, we're just going to throw the fucking, super volcano eruption in there and have John Cusack drive a limo out of there and somehow fucking make it out of there in this limo. Like, Triple X status when he's like snowboarding down the fucking snow ass mountain and like you got the fucking avalanches basically over him, and then you see a second like later and he's like 20 feet behind him still, and you're like, all right, come on, Triple H, what's going on?
There's a scene where they just like they straight up murder a grandma in 2012. I don't even remember this. It's like when the streets all start like popping up, and it's like this weird like there's this weird comic element to it where it's like this wacky like, whoa, what's going on? I'm old and I can't drive, and then she just fucking like just gets obliterated by like a thing after we've seen her. She had like a line. We got to know this grandma. Like we looked into her eyes and she looked back.
Yeah.
And then they just fucking crunched her.
Well, it serves that fucking grandma right for being at the wrong place in the wrong time in the wrong movie. I don't know, man. They're still making those movies. Like I saw one just recently that was done a couple years ago. I think it was called San Andreas or whatever, and it was with The Rock. And then I just saw
one of these 7 Rock movies where he's in a skyscraper that's on fire.
There's a new one coming out.
I know.
just saw the trailer.
Skyscraper. I just watched Rampage, San Andreas,
yes, exactly.
Fast and the Furious 8. Like he's always in fucked up skyscrapers, man.
What is going on with that?
That's his niche.
How does one do that many bad movies based on the same fucking thing?
A
row.
Well, I mean, he's like he's this generation's like Schwarzenegger. Mm-hmm. And in a way, I feel like, in the way that I look back and watch like Running Man or something like that, I'm like, wow, this is a absolutely terrible movie, but I loved every goddamn second of it.
He should do more voiceover shit. Because when he was at the Maui and Moana, I thought he was great, and I liked that movie a lot. I discovered that movie, and that was my Disney favorite.
I guess it was like I don't know. I thought the singing kind of like left a little bit there, but that's with a lot of them.
When he's trying to be funny, like The Rundown was a great movie.
Oh, The Rundown was a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not talking shit.
I
love The Rock.
I like him, but like he does choose those shitty movies, like the ones that you're just like, come on, man.
But every once in a while, like I'll pop one on, and it's like surprisingly good. Like CIA. Did you ever see that?
No.
I mean, it's definitely not worth seeing in the theaters, but now that you can like find it like an upload of it on YouTube, I'm just like, oh shit, that movie was actually like not bad. I enjoyed it.
I bet you if I try to go look for it, I won't be able to find it because that's how fucking Hulu and Netflix work. It's like they do have these mind-reading devices on your computer that can just say like, oh, he wants to watch this movie now because he saw it on here for the past 3 months, didn't choose to watch it until now. We're going to take it off. he's not gonna be able to watch it.
That's the algorithms, man. They got all this big data. They're basically fucking
Mind
magicians
readers.
in the way they're able to do this. And I'm starting to look at what they're doing and work backwards from that to try to figure out what the hell they're finding out. I've recently realized that I think Netflix has discovered that people really want to watch problematic TV shows about high schoolers just doing the most self-destructive behavior possible.
Yeah,
Because there's that
they're
that
over
suicide
sexualizing
show.
the fuck out of kids in a lot of these shows too. I'm
There's
noticing that
Riverdale
it's
one.
younger.
There's I think there's one more, and then there's they're coming out with one now about a girl who is really fat and then sews her mouth shut and then gets really skinny, and and then she's dealing with being all hot now at the school.
Yeah.
I'm just what the fuck?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just me because I
What
know
a
that they've been doing
Shitty
that.
premise.
Yeah. But I know they've been doing that with forever, with 90210 and these other shows. But clearly, back in the day, at least when I was younger, maybe it's because I was younger, you could tell that those were older actors. Now some of the movies are so realistic with the age range. They're pulling it with a lot of indie movies and shows, even regular network shows. They're having these very sexual scenes with really young fucking people. You're holy shit, is that? I mean, they're obviously legal, but damn.
When it's back in the day when it's Dawson's Creek or something like that, it's oh, okay, but everybody looks like they're 35.
Exactly.
It doesn't feel fucking weird, but it's oh no, if you sort of look 14, no, what
Exactly,
the fuck?
yeah.
No. Fucking next. Jesus Christ.
It is very interesting though, the new shows that they do come out with that though. It's a very different time than when we were kids.
Yeah.
That whole the 22 Jump Street thing, or was it 21 Jump Street? The difference between back when those guys were in high school or college or whatever, from when they went to the high school, and that was kind of the difference. He thought being a jock was still fucking badass, and you're just picking on people, attacking the gay kid and calling him a fag, and they're just whoa, dude, what's going on?
I mean, that still trips me out that it's that different. Even at the same for me, my own high school, checking in with I had friends who had little younger siblings that were still going there maybe 6 years after I graduated or something like that, and them talking about what it was like there just sounded so fucking different to my whole experience there, just not even that long before.
Right.
I don't know. I think it was did that bullying, anti-bullying campaign that the whole world was on for 2 years, actually really take hold and make that much of a difference?
I don't know.
It might have. Shit.
I don't know. I just don't even think about high school at all. It's weird for me to drive by my old high school. I drive by it down, on my way home tonight, I'll probably drive by and I'll just be looking at it what the fuck is that place? That's
yeah, because it's only a quarter mile out of the way on your way home.
Those are
You just
the
drive by
ruins from an
longingly
ancient
looking
world
at it.
that I've never in my previous life. I was a fucking idiot school child, and I went and walked the streets of the halls of Garden Grove High School.
Yeah, man. I I see my old high school, and there's actually been some renovations now, so it doesn't look like a straight dump from the 70s.
Like a straight prison with a moat around it. And
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, but it's still surrounded by a river of shit. So
So the river of shit's still
the
there.
river of shit
The
will never
moat.
go anywhere, and that's the constant reminder of of the area. It's a beautiful metaphor that kind of keeps me grounded.
It's funny because my teacher always used to make fun of it. That was her alumni, and she was always just saying it's literally looking like a prison. And then when I was going by there, I'm I wonder who the fuck thought to make that. Was that a prison before it was a high school? What's going on?
Well, no, I think there literally was some overlap between the way that they decided to structure prisons and education or something like that. I want to say when I've looked back in the history of things, they took cues from each other, and so they kind of do feel a little bit prison-like. I don't think that's necessarily the best for education, but hey, the fuck do I know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just a guy who watches way too much TV.
Speaking of way too much TV, you probably got your fucking dose of nerd shit this fucking weekend.
Absolutely nerd overloaded this past weekend at Comic-Con, which was it was really fun, man.
It's
it was
funny how we
crazy.
missed each other the last couple of years, because last year I went and you didn't get to go, and then
Yeah.
this year I kind of chose not to this time.
Yeah,
for a different reason.
and I was totally gonna go to that, and then something
Yeah.
last minute they're hey, we need you at Comic-Con. So I'm okay, here we go again. And it was brutal though for me because I was out there with Just Dance.
Okay.
And so I was dancing for like 9 hours a day for 4 days straight.
What was it like? Was it humid and super fucking hot down there?
Well, yeah, outside. Luckily, I was posted up at this. There's like this Nintendo lounge that was next to it at the Marriott.
Okay.
And so it was like nice and air conditioned in there, and mercifully they were like holding off, like they were only allowing so many people in. So I never got like overcrowded. It never got like way too hot and uncomfortable, which would have been, I mean, that would have straight killed me because I was tearing through like 2 gallons of water like a day.
Yeah.
And like just fucking chowing down on like 4 sandwiches and stuff like that just to like keep up with all the like, shit that was going on. But I had so much fun, man.
Is Just Dance like a Dance Revolution type game or what?
No, it's like the concept is like you would have like the TV, like a big TV, and then there's a choreography on there, and you have a controller in your hand. Or it's like an Xbox Connect thing that like follows your motion, and you just have to do the same choreography of what's going on the screen.
Oh, okay.
But it's not like you're moving your feet to like press the buttons or anything.
Got it.
Like it's like a full everything. You've got to like get the whole thing down.
Oh my god, it's crazy because we are right there with the VR shit too. Look,
we have a Just Dance VR too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's actually pretty fucking crazy. Like I put that on. It was what was it? I think it was Bad Romance by Lady Gaga. And like you put it on and you're like in like a cathedral and like this whole like really trippy like music video kind of like takes place around you, and where you're looking you have to like dance with like what she's doing on there. And you have like the VR controllers like on your hands and stuff like that, so that's how it tracks you and makes sure that like you're doing the right points and it's scoring you on that basis.
Yeah.
And then if you're if you can follow along with Lady Gaga and her choreography, then like that's how you do it. And it's fucking crazy. So yeah. So I know all of Bad Romance now.
That would drive
so many
me nuts just listening to the same song over and over again. And doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
What did you see the most of?
Huh?
In terms of characters, people walking around dressed up? Because last year I felt like I saw a billion Ricks and Mortys.
Yeah, I didn't see. I don't think I saw any Ricks or Mortys this year. I think I maybe saw like one, but it was not nearly like the giant ubiquitous thing that it has been in the past.
You think that they fell off after the last season? People were just like, they're not really feeling it as much.
Well, I feel like you just can't keep that up. Like I feel like if everybody was that last year, like probably all those people don't want to go as that the next year. For me, I don't know, because I didn't really see. I dealt with a lot of like kids because we were like not in the convention center, and you didn't need a pass to get in there, and so I didn't see a ton of cosplay. When I was walking around, it was like really hard to to pick one. It's like I feel like I didn't see a lot of like really deep cuts like usual. I mean, there's just a fuckload of anime characters that I don't know who they are, so I'm like, oh, it's the slutty schoolgirl with the blue hair, like again. So maybe that's the same one. Maybe it's from a different one. I have no idea.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it was cool. But like I didn't do as much exploring this time around just because I was so fucking tired at the end of every day.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, I'm going straight back to the hotel, getting high, and going to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was crazy, man.
I'm exhausted just thinking about it right now. Like my neck, I'm all rubbing it and shit. Like thinking like back to the years past where I was just in the gallery all day and just like moving stuff around, having to run across the street to get more wine from the fucking liquor store.
Yeah.
And going through that the back ways of the hotel where it's all musty and nasty and fucking just like smells like trash.
Yeah.
And it was ugh. Yeah.
Yeah, it was it was fun though, because I do love doing it. Like I love playing the game, and especially when you do get like a crowd going, when you're like when you're getting it and there's like 30 or 40 people going on, and I'm hyping everybody up. I'm like, all right, I like clapping for them, like let's show them some love, let's get out there, and then I'm going, I'm dancing with them or like across the screen and stuff like that, and just being able to like improvise, dance around and grab people, like people who are like looking, like I catch their eye and like, oh, I know you want to, just like kind of bringing people out of their shell and stuff like that and making sure everybody has a good time.
Yeah.
And that's always like super fun for me. So
it was super fun for me to do the same thing, just in a very different manner, except I was really drunk and I got a little too sauced up both nights, but it was amazing and it was awesome. So many fucking people. Well,
that is your right.
Yeah, it was great to do the same thing. We played a lot of music, though I don't remember all of what we played. I do kind of vaguely remember eating shit up on the rocks while jamming mainly because my hip is telling me so. Like I fucking fell and just like smacked it. And I woke up the next day like, what the hell happened? And then I got all these like scratches all over from when we were up on the rocks jamming and
As one does.
stumbled and fell, and yeah, it was really cool. And we had a huge spot to ourselves up in the mountains.
Oh yeah.
I'm really thinking of continuing to do it there, but like kind of really trying to focus on getting all of the spots because there's really not that many. And if you could get like every single spot taken there,
if you could like take it over, then
you could like literally
could you
have
really just be like as loud as you want?
I would actually assume so, you know, because I would say that the closest thing to you would be a biker bar that's like, you know, 5-minute drive down the road, but like nobody's there. And I mean, the sound, I really don't think you'd have a problem, but I mean, the area itself is just, that would be fucking really cool.
That's cool. That's cool. So it was like a good weekend for it because it wasn't the same weekend as last.
No, it wasn't the same weekend. It was great. I was a little worried because looking at the weather, I typed in like the weather for the Angeles Forest, and it was supposed to be like 96 degrees, and I'm like, whoa, like, and I was thinking that's not gonna be good. I might have to cancel this or just tell people to show up like late at night and do like, you know, for us who were there, do absolutely nothing. But then I realized Angeles Forest is a fucking huge place. So I got more specific, and the campgrounds were actually only like 79, 78
Oh, sweet.
At the high. So, and it was like by the time I got there, like at 2:30, like I was, you know, thinking it's gonna be a bitch to unload all this shit, be sweating, but nope, there was a nice breeze. Got right to hanging out and chilling, and we had a couple neighbors. Walked right up to them in the beginning. It was just like, look, we're going to be partying. We're going to be being very loud.
It's going to get wild. I apologize in advance.
Feel free to come and join us. And they were young, and they were like, cool, yeah, we're going to be doing the same thing. So it just worked out.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking tight.
Yeah. And same spot as last year and everything. We even got more, the other ones down.
It was the same spot as last year.
Literally the same spot.
Oh,
not
okay,
the same
okay.
weekend.
Okay.
Just a different weekend, but
Cool.
the same spot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice and shady and everything.
Oh yeah, no, that was like a really nice area, and it didn't get too hot out there, man.
And
how many people we have out there?
Shit, you know, throughout the whole weekend, because people came on Friday and then left a little early, and then more people came out Saturday. I would say all together who showed up, it was definitely at least like 30 to 40. I don't know. I'm bad with like numbers like that.
Yeah,
but you know, definitely like 30, I would say altogether.
Dope.
I want to say. I don't know. Yeah, it was a big size party. And I was stoked because like last year it seemed like it took a lot longer to get out of there. I don't know why, but this year everybody was like out super early, and I kind of just stayed by myself, and I was like the last one to leave, and I just felt like a certain sense of clarity, of like peace, you know, like just to be out there, even though I was like super hungover. I should have been in a lot worse shape, just sitting there and just like, you know, kind of like being away from things and people, because prior to, you know, going out there and just in recent months, I feel like it's been very common with not just myself, a lot of other people that just fucking stressed, you know, for various reasons.
Yeah.
And just overworked, and like, you know, the FOMO was a very strong thing for a lot of people, like wanting to go and be here and do this and do that. And it was like at that point when I was sitting there that like I finally got this thing in me where it's like, okay, I got it out of my system, and now I'm ready to chill and learn how to just not be upset about not being able to make it to every little thing, to not have to like worry about, oh shit, that's this weekend, like no matter who the lineup is or how many of my friends are doing that. It's not that I don't want to support them, obviously, but as we talked about before, you know, these things, they can get overwhelming, you know, and you need to just like slow down a little bit and chill out and give yourself some mental clarity, clear some shit out, like you're like throwing away some files, some
you
junk.
gotta defragment that hard drive.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what, you know, I drove home, and it was just very relaxing and chill. But when I got home, I actually like rested for a couple hours and woke up and was like, you know, I'm gonna go to work. I went to fucking work. I picked up a shift that night. I was so random. I did not expect that. Made some money. The next day I actually cleaned out my whole car, everything, you know, stuff that would have taken me months to do outside of any other festival. And I was like, and you know, just like cleaned my room, got my car washed, and I just feel like 100 pounds lighter than I did a month ago.
Dude,
you know,
I feel like maybe we hang out too much and like our periods are in sync or something like that, because I did almost the same thing yesterday.
I'm telling
where
you,
I had
it's a
like
shift.
a strange like, okay, I'm beat the fuck up and it's been like a long day. I know I like earned some rest, but I've got this like this clarity, like, you know what, I don't want to like give myself that, I don't want to reward myself when I don't feel like I have like really earned it yet. And so I went through and I just completely clean this whole place out.
Yeah.
Just like down to like mop the floors and everything too.
Yeah.
It's like really just
Deep
went through
clean.
and just deep cleaned like a motherfucker all day yesterday.
Yeah.
And then when I finally like finished and I was like, you know what? You just take that good breath and it feels like one that you've earned.
Yeah.
You know? And I always love taking, like, just like you said, like taking advantage of those opportunities, like being, you know, the last one out, being alone in the endless forest, to be able to take that, to seize that moment of clarity.
Yeah.
Just to like take in your surroundings and just slow yourself down for a minute and just like, you know, put the whole routines, all the subroutines that are constantly going on in your head, just put them in sleep mode for a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
like actually meditate. You
Yeah.
know, like where you can like it just happens. You
Yeah.
know, like you just fall into sync with it instead of trying to meditate and still just getting it worse because you're just in your head right there in one spot and you can't really like get out of it.
Yeah.
But
It's a beautiful thing, and I'm kind of in my own way kind of going through that this weekend too, because I was just like forcing myself to slow down.
well, I did
And
the
like
same thing.
take the breath.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't need to like, I'm not, everything is not so urgent that I need to like, I don't have time to like, I can only take like no.
Yeah. 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 I did the same thing last week. You know, I did like we didn't talk about it because we had to take a break since we were, you know, busy with Kazooloo and Comic-Con, but I spent basically like 5 days in the last week cleaning my room, and people are like, 5 days? What the fuck? And it's like, yeah, dude, because I did the deep clean. Like I have so much shit, you know, so much stuff
Yeah.
in like, you know, one room, and a lot of it I use constantly for like art in the park or different things. And so, you know, it's not necessarily like the bad thing to have all that stuff, but it's just so disorganized because, you know, you just to push things off to the side and like, you know, tuck it away somewhere that it just gets out of the way for a second. But this time I finally went through each day, took everything out, like deep cleaned, like wiped down, fucking, you know, dusted just everything, and got rid of a bunch of papers. I had gone and I also handled like getting the new license, like went to the DMV, got that out of the way, which is something I usually would have just put off and shit. And I finally got it. Like so many things I was able to do, like get my oil changed and like, you know, maintain my car and just do all these things in a very short amount of time. But it was weird because it just kind of felt seamless as well, you know. And once every little thing kept getting done, it just felt like that much more, like almost like, you know, you've got these indentations on your back or something, and then they're just kind of like popping, like they're just like popping out, like you're not, you know.
I mean, that's a pretty gross metaphor, but I get it.
Yeah, I don't know, like some fucking. I'm just thinking about that because like when I feel stressed, it's in my, you know, my back and my neck,
straight up,
just
in my
straight
back.
like tight, you know. And like you're saying, anytime you think of something that pops into your head, like something that you just remember, like, oh fuck, I'm supposed to do this, fuck, I'm supposed to do that, but you know, then you get sidetracked because you're just whoa, boom,
and then you beat yourself up over it. You're just like, damn, like I didn't do that thing, like fuck, I forgot to do this, and it compounds on that stuff.
Yeah.
And for me, a tactic that I've like started to employ that has helped me at least stay more on top of that, like day to day, is to you know, I got a like a task app on my phone that I use kind of a lot, even for every little thing, like that I kind of like, even stuff that's like so minor. It's like, oh, don't forget to like respond to this person's like email, you know, or like, hey, you got to get this done by then or this done by then. And even if it's like, oh, like, you know, take this jacket to the dry cleaner, you know, little, you know, really not important, you know, errands or chores to do, but I put them all in there anyway. So I can actually like see them all listed out. So it helps me to like at least remember them, because I don't know about you, but I'm constantly like, if I didn't write it down, I'm like, oh shit, that thing. And then I forget about it like 2 seconds later until I need to do it the next time. Like, say taking a DVD back to Redbox, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And so like having that there, and then once I actually do get on a roll and I look at it and I start going down the list, I'm like, okay. And I just say, fuck it. And I just go and I do one of those things, you know? And then I cross it off. And then I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, I'm feeling good. And I just keep that momentum going. And soon I'm like, boom, boom, boom. I can look. I'm like, all right. It doesn't feel like I did, like otherwise I might have normally not said that I, did much that day. But when I can look at 7 things, even if it's like laundry, clean the room, like do this and do that, like I can have that and I can be like, you know what? I feel good about myself. Like I feel like I actually have earned my relaxation time, and I don't like sit back and get high on the couch at night and watch TV and go to sleep and feel guilty for it.
Yeah.
And being able, I think when you do feel guilty about those kinds of things, that like you don't really get the rest that you need.
Oh no.
To like actually be productive and accomplish the things that you really want to do.
Yeah. No way.
And so I think it is important to just like push through, because everybody is a lot stronger than they think they are.
Sure.
To just keep pushing through and even get those little incremental things done.
Yeah.
And once you do, and you earn that rest, you get that more relaxed sleep, you feel better, and just like one good, thing begets another.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting better at least writing things down at home on a desk, but I'm not one of those people that is very good at like for me, it takes that extra level of like thought that adds to the stress to think to go write it down. It's like, I should go write this down. Wait, what should I write it down on? Should I write it in my notes? Should I write it on a piece of paper? Should I put it in my computer? Should I email it to myself? What should I do? Because I'm not going to look at my notes. What if, like, how do I do this reminder? Shit, this is a new app. Fuck, I got to download and sync this to my contacts. Shit, it's just like, boom. So I'm never good at that. But I'm getting to the point where I need to try that.
It just takes practice.
By the way,
it
though,
takes just like pushing through that idea to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And then you pick it up quicker than you think you ever would have.
By the way, though, the Netflix or the Redbox thing for me wasn't because I forgot. It was just literally because my brain was like, do I want to get up and go do that right now? And then like it's like, I don't want to do that right now. It's like you remember concept. Every day. It's just you have to push through. Get your ass up.
The one thing that's been on this list for such a long time that has still not gotten done is for me to return the keg that I got for my Halloween party 2 years ago.
What?
Yeah, 2 Halloweens ago. I never returned that keg.
And so is there like an ongoing charge for this?
No. It's just I paid a deposit.
Got it.
But like I have not gotten that deposit back because I have not actually gotten the keg, put it in my trunk, drove down to the keg place, which is like 6 minutes away.
What's the deposit?
$30.
Oh, well, at this point,
Yeah, no, it's just a thing that's been like hanging on my to-do list, just haunting me like every time. It's just like there. And so that's like, I'm not perfect. I give this advice out. I don't always follow it myself,
I don't think the idea that we should start to continue to push out there is that people need to be perfect to be able to give their advice, though, because I think giving advice. Yeah. But I know that's a thing that like we were talking about. The day that
I do return that keg though is gonna feel so fucking good. Of course. Like it can be the only thing I do that day, and I am going to throw myself a goddamn parade.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is that like people, as we were talking about before, just because somebody does something stupid or like says something fucking stupid doesn't mean that if they say something good, doesn't mean you should at least like listen to that message. Like fuck the person as much as it is about a message. Now, if a person's like a real big piece of shit or something, obviously you don't really want to listen to him, and that's fine. But what I'm saying with this is like we should also, instead of telling people like to discourage people from listening to good advice such as that because you might have a messy room. I don't know. I think that's
But no, that's like that. I think that's a perfect segue into a lot of things that are going on right now. You know, especially this idea of okay. This idea of like everybody is imperfect.
Right.
So every message is going to come from an imperfect messenger, and I'm seeing this a lot as of lately, where people are spending a lot of time focusing on the messenger and not so much on the message. And I think that is a huge problem that I think people at least need to be socially aware of when it comes to things, to look at these messages on the merit of, what it is themselves, and then consider the context of who's saying it second. And to take a lot of messages without context, I think is a slippery slope. And I think it's like a societal concept that I think people know how to hack it now, especially with, social media and everything like that going on. It just in the day and age that we live in, that psychological phenomenon can be hijacked by people. And my my reason for bringing this up is, do you hear about what happened to James Gunn last weekend?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so James Gunn was the writer and director of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, and 3.
Oh shit! Writer and director.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And he's very, very talented dude, very good dude. Also, very, very outspoken critic of Donald Trump and everything that's going on there. Very big activist for a lot of, causes that are, a pushback to this administration's policies and stuff. And so he used to be like kind of a provocateur, like comedy guy, like guys that would just say the outrageous shit just to like get a reaction and say something funny, like a lot of comics are. Mm-hmm. And that was like 2006 and 7 and stuff like that.
Right.
And so there's some like old tweets out there about him, him joking about like pedophilia and rape and all that kind of shit, like was pretty, pervasive, like it was around at the time, and not to make excuses for that. Like it's people make mistakes, it's like you don't talk about Martin Luther King and be like, well, I mean, he cheated on his wife and stuff like that all the time. It's like, well, yeah.
Because I hate those people that when you try to like give like Martin Luther King Day, he was a piece of shit, blah blah blah. You're like, really, dude? Like, come on. I mean, it's the message behind what we're trying to push out on today, rather than like him as a person. At least that's how I always, take it.
Yeah. And there is a like kind of a back and forth, and holding people to stand. And I know this is going to sound crazy hypocritical, and know that I hear myself when I'm saying this, because this is also like. And I've criticized people for, using the same kind of argument to criticize like the Me Too movement and stuff like that. But this one in particular, he was fired from Guardians of the Galaxy 3 over the weekend, and like banned from all the Comic-Con panels that he was on. And that's because these like old tweets, surface tweets that he's already acknowledged, talked about, and apologized for, but they were brought up again because, It was do you know the Pizzagate guy, Mike Cernovich? He's
the guy that says about the
he just makes up rumors about people and stuff like that. Says everybody's a pedophile. Famously, he perpetuated the Pizzagate conspiracy, which was where he said that there was a pizza shop in Washington D.C. that Hillary Clinton and a lot of the elite Democrats were using to run a child sex slave ring out of, and then. He kept saying this over and over again and just accusing people of being pedophiles and, trafficking children. And, he's Alex, one of the Alex Jones types. Mm. And, but he knows it's bullshit. He knows he's making it up, and he acknowledges that he's making it up because he wants to fuck with people, same like Milo. And, somebody went in with an assault rifle and shot up the whole fucking pizza parlor because they wanted to rescue the kids. And then, oh, shock. It was just a fucking pizza parlor. It wasn't a child sex slave ring. Mm. And so, this is what this guy does. It's his MO, and he's done it a bunch of times before, and it's kind of maddening that it still continues to work, in that like he's weaponized that psychological phenomenon and public pressure and stuff like that, because he has his followers, and he has his he has a couple of his cohorts that like at that level who also have like a large pool of followers, same like Milo and stuff like that, and they whip everybody up into a frenzy. And they say, oh, look at these tweets. Look at this fucking... And they just spin this whole story with out-of-context tweets. And then they, mount a campaign from all of the same people to attack one person. They focus it in. And, this time... They've done it a bunch of times where it worked and a bunch of times where it hasn't. But this time with James Gunn, it worked. They had, a bunch of people just tweet to Disney like, hey, look at these old tweets that we found from James Gunn in 2006, like, I'm a concerned mother and I will not have my children see this and blah, blah, blah. And they caved and they fired and stuff like that. A lot of the shit was made up, And not to excuse the tweets, because they are, they are bad, they're raunchy, they're in poor taste, and they're not very funny, but that's kind of what's going on. And this happened again yesterday. The same kind of group of people, that as they've realized that they can do this, they tried it on Dan Harmon. And so they took an old like Channel 101, which was like one of his original sketch shows that he did with Rob Schraub. And it was like they took one sketch out of context that was like pretty raunchy, and it was ironic almost, It's like if you took one scene from Rick and Morty that was about like where Morty's like getting molested by like the guy in the Candyland episode or something like that. Yeah. Like if you took just that scene, and you pulled it out and you said, "Look, what the fuck is this?" and you're trying to get them. Yeah. You tried to get him fired for making that cartoon. Yeah. That's what they do. Yeah. And that's because Dan fucking hates Donald Trump, and he's been an outspoken activist against him. Yeah. And that's where a lot of this is coming back from, is that these people are these, neocon, like this is the alt-right. This is who we talk about when we talk about the alt-right. And so they've been doing this to kind of weaponize, these group movements and put public pressure on people. And they can do it from an anonymous standpoint, and they can kind of like make up how intense these things are. And so it's been a frustrating week for so many reasons, but that one in particular, I think kind of really does, at least it's a good segue from the last topic to this one right here.
Yeah. How people, we're just in a new age where, we have all of this like shit that's changing constantly, and something like that being dug up, if like you're saying, they take it out of context, but you could just put it out there and create some sort of an outrage. And like you're right. It's not to excuse, especially sexual misconduct, things that people have done they're coming out and being accused now. It's definitely not to excuse any of that. That's absolutely certainly more of a thing too than somebody tweeting a bad joke. There's
no rule that we can set that says this is always okay and this is not. Context is always going to be important.
Absolutely. Yeah. And how people can go and do that, but I think that it is the time that we're living in, because people, before, the reason why this didn't really happen as much maybe is because it's just so easy for people to get their shit, and like they can just go out there and put it out there themselves now so easily. Like you can record music easier than you've ever been able to do it before. You can make shows in your fucking home and just send it out there and broadcast it and get a following overnight of all of these people, and just make stuff up, and you don't have anybody authority, like any sort of authority really over you being like, oh no, you can't do that, you can't put that out there. Not to say that would really help, or that it always does help, but it's just it's a crazy time, because that's how you can easily get people stirred up in a frenzy. And if they're stirred up in this frenzy over here, these people are like, what's going on? Wait, what? And then you got these people over here that are like, look at them, they're over there stirring up a frenzy for no reason because of this. And then they create this frenzy over here because they're like, fuck, look at all these guys are fucking going around and believing this and that. It's like a South Park episode. Yeah, everybody's just like, yeah, like, what's going on? What the fuck?
Everybody just starts barking at each other and chasing Randy their own tails. Yeah. When, like in reality, it's like, hey, these two groups actually agree with each other, but they won't stop to talk to each other for long enough to like actually, to actually like stop and question, the context of the message that they're receiving, or do a little follow up to see if like, hey, is this what you actually feel and believe? And it's just it's pissing me off in particular this week, because it's like, it annoys me enough to when, the outrage culture that we're in, where things are, trying to get banned immediately and stuff like that. When we talk about like pop culture and things like that, where people are like, oh, you can't say that. Like, a lot of the, the PC culture, as it's, often, as it's often referred to, and they're like, oh, you can't say that, you can't do that, you can't joke about that and stuff like that. I think that like goes way too far in one direction, and I think, maybe people should have stood their ground. Who the fuck am I? Who do I know?
Like give me an example of what you mean. Like
Al Franken. Actually, fuck, that's another example from the same fucking group of douchebags. Yeah. It's literally like the same guy. Yeah. Is like doing all these things to try to get, critics of the president fired or out of power. To kind of like reverse social engineer these things. And that's why this one in particular makes me mad, because it's like, they're not actually offended.
Yeah.
They're not actually mad.
Yeah.
They just want this person fucking gone. And they've explicitly said so. And it just makes me mad that it actually works. Because this is all documented. You can go back and you can read his like Twitter profile.
Yeah.
You can read things. You can watch videos of him talking about his plan to get this person fired by drumming up fake outrage. Yet it still works. Even though there is evidence to the fact that, hey, this was all started by somebody who doesn't actually give a shit. You know,
it's like that goes along with one of the many faults of our legal system. How you can just know that somebody's guilty of something, but if you could find a loophole, or something in the law, or you just get away with it, it happens, and that's what's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We need to rewrite a bunch of shit, but people like don't really like the idea of rewriting things that have been around for a long time. They think that, hey, that's the way we've always done it. This was the Constitution. It's like, where in the history of mankind has there ever been one thing that has just always been the thing, the thing that we follow forever, in terms of law or society, things as we change, we have to fucking change rules and things in the ways that we live by. Like, we fucking, it's
society is fluid. Like life is fluid.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can be so rigid and not have any kind of exceptions to it. Yeah. There should be more oversight for stuff like that. And I think there's too much faith in like these systems that are set up that are kind of just, they're flimsy at best. So much of our society kind of is, a house of cards.
Well, this is why I like to question just about everything, though, because even alongside that, though, there are still so many people that fall into these ways or these systems and then get so stuck in them without even realizing it over time, and become such a thing where they just fall into a side of things. And then at a certain point, regardless, they just stop listening to, they actually stop listening and trying to think about it as much as they are just trying to blindly follow something. And that's why I think it's very important to always encourage to just always ask every fucking question that needs to be fucking asked, because everything has context, and not everything is the same. It's circumstantial. Everything is circumstantial, generally speaking. Even if we do tend to, see that there are patterns that exist, that does not mean we should, blindly go and try to assume that it was that way just because it's happened this many times here before. It might be fucking right. But we'll get to that. We'll figure out if it's right, and if it's right or if wrong, if something was real, then take that action. But you can't just fucking say, oh, this is probably this way just because it's happened a bunch of times before. Well, like you said, you might be right.
I think to bring everything kind of full circle, I think it is also kind of taking advantage of of the human condition and of the like natural processes that we want to be into, in that like we do look for shortcuts always, mentally, physically, and that is, a routine is your shortcut, not cleaning your room. That's kind of like your shortcut, not wanting to stop and take a breath and not wanting to do these things, not wanting to run that one errand that would only take like 5 minutes, but you still don't want to do it because you don't want to push through there. And that's the same thing as putting in that little bit of extra energy to try to understand maybe another point of view, or just do what it takes to accomplish whatever goal that is.
It really did bring it around full circle there, because it is exactly like that. Taking those shortcuts in the long run does not pay off. It fucks you up the butt.
It fucks, and it's not just you kind of fuck a lot of people up. There's a lot of butts that are your
it's like
your apathy is the metaphorical. Okay, I don't know where this metaphor is going, but
anyways, nasty shit to everybody at the party.
Exactly. You will ruin the orgy if you don't take the time to.
That was actually in a TV show. Did you ever watch that High Maintenance show or something like that? That was High Maintenance, the HBO show. I was watching it on Hulu, and there's like a part of that where they're like these swingers, and like they realize that they jump to a different scene where like these two swingers find out that they like just got fucking the clap, and then they have to go and tell their whole like orgy group of friends that like, we got the clap, y'all probably have the clap too. And they're like, what? It's just fucking, they're all pissed off. But
Shout out to Aldous Snow.
Aldous Snow. Is that one of his songs?
Yeah.
Which from Get Him to the Greek
Yeah.
or what is it?
How
does
got the clap.
Oh.
I got the clap. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think part of me is like meshing that a little bit with the Ramones in my head.
Yeah, you
But,
were
like,
doing
yeah,
Gina,
no, I
Gina
did-
is a punk
it did-
rocker.
It did, yeah, I did turn into Gina is a punk rocker, and I caught myself about halfway through, and I'm like, wait, fuck, how does it go? Whatever. There was a song with the clap. It's called
Okay,
The Clap. Yeah.
I was like, are you doing the Ramones
And then he
right
goes,
now?
he's like, oh yeah, it's a clap. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Cool. So what else happened at Comic-Con? Anything that new coming out from movies or
Honestly, nothing really jumped out at me, you know, because I was able to get a pass and I was able to like walk around in there, and so I looked at the whole schedule. Never mind what's going on over here. Shut up, Frankie.
she's
Oh,
like,
she's
"Whoa."
so sketched out right now.
Like, what's up with that?
Cat, just go hide in your corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was looking around a lot of stuff. I'm just like, none of this stuff looks all that like exciting or interesting. You know, nothing really jumps out at me as like, that's the thing I gotta see. But then again, I don't remember like the last thing that like I was really. Well, actually, no. The last thing I was like, everything kind of came out. You know, that I was like really pumped for. Which was this year would have been like Infinity War, which was like the thing that I've been waiting for like 10 years. And as far as my nerdy shit goes, like I feel like I'm a nerd, and then I go to Comic-Con and realize like, oh, okay, like my nerd scope is sort of myopic in that like I know Marvel comics and video games really well, and I don't really know anything else.
But
that
there's
well.
so many different things. Like there's like anime is like its whole thing in itself, and you could tell the people that go there that are kind of like that's their shit, you know.
Yeah.
And then there's people with the traditional superheroes, and they're just like really all about that. And there's like a lot of just gamer people, and then there's just like there's just randoms
There's
that
just
just
pop
like
culture people who are
yeah,
there for
people
stuff.
that just like everything. They're just there to try to like just see it all.
And there's no wrong way to do it. You
No.
know? But it's like, you know, oh, like I can't muster up excitement for like a Walking Dead panel, you know?
Yeah.
Or like, oh, cool, like
I'm not a fan of The Walking Dead.
the Aquaman trailer is out. That's cool. Like I can't get myself excited for DC.
DC stuff is
anything.
hard anymore. Other than past
It's not very
Christopher,
good.
yeah, well, past you know, The Dark Knight.
Christopher Nolan was the only one that did good things.
Yeah.
I saw there was a was it like a oh god, see it's like a Teen Titans thing, and I don't know much about who that is, but it was like they did like a dark one. It's like a gritty, like real one. I remember it was it's just the meme that I've seen was like somebody was like in the trailer, like Robin goes like, well, fuck Batman, you know, or maybe it's Nightwing. I don't even know who's on the fucking Teen Titans, but like I remember that was kind of great. I'm like, oh, that could be interesting, but
Speaking of dark shit, this is not related, but it's called Dark Tourism. Check it out. It's a documentary show on Netflix. I was watching it yesterday. Fucking trippy. I don't know like how real it is or what, but it's this guy that goes around and he like goes to these places that have like dark, scary shit as like touristic things. He's like, he goes to like, how do you say it? Medellin in Colombia.
Yeah.
And he takes this tour with one of Pablo Escobar's ex like #1 hitman. And the weirdest thing is like, okay, they got this guy on TV. Like apparently he's like straight up admitting to people how many like people he's killed, like over 250 people. He says like just point blank, just shot and whatever. And apparently he's already done his time for that there because he's out and gives tours as an actor, like a YouTube actor that like takes people through like the different spots that they did shit. And he like reenacts like murders that he did and shit.
damn.
And so the guy like that's on this thing with him, the host, I forget his name, David something. He's like this British guy that's just like, he does really good. He's like, he goes out there to these places, asks questions, but you could tell he's just like so uncomfortable because he's like talking to the ex hitman and he's just like crazy. Like he's like laughing and cheering. It's almost like this guy like doesn't really like feel remorse for this at all. Like hasn't learned any lesson from him. And so he's like kind of like joking even like about like how he killed somebody or did something. And the guy's like, I don't really think it's funny. You're talking about killing people or chopping them up into pieces. It's not really funny. And then you just see the guy look at him and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Is this going to be like one of those episodes? Remember that Cheaters episode or whatever where the guy got stabbed? You know, like a reality TV show what gone wrong. Like this guy would just turn around and just fucking shoot him. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think I've seen that one.
You didn't see that Cheaters one? It's a classic
No.
one from Cheaters where like they were on a boat and this guy got stabbed because
Shit.
I
believe that.
the cheater went fucking
Have you-
crazy.
okay, did you ever watch Secretos?
No,
It was the Mexican version of Cheaters.
no.
Where shit like that would happen all the time. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah,
that shit was wild.
They'll be slapping
Man,
Carlos.
but no, I think I know exactly what you mean. Like, have you ever seen the documentary The Act of Killing?
No,
Oh my god, that's one of my favorite documentaries of all time.
no.
Because it's about like I want to say they're in Malaysia. Yeah, I want to say they're like, it's like these guys go to Malaysia and they talk to like people who are in the Malaysian government, and there was like a really fucked up bloody like coup in like the 70s or 80s, and there was like this massive like like rebel army kind of came through and just murdered, raped, like the worst shit that you could think of that's going on in like a third world country, and just took over the government like bloodily. Mm-hmm. And it's exactly what you're talking about. Like, they're talking to these guys about what they did, and they're laughing, and they're talking about the 300 people they killed and stuff like that, and what they would do to them.
Well, dude, there were people like that back in the Marines and shit too. Like when they talked about killing
My Lai
Charlie and
massacre
shit.
Yeah, no, that's like, yeah, we did that shit too. But like, this one was particularly crazy because they went over there and they said like, okay, what we're doing is we're making a movie for you guys about how you guys came into power. It's like about your heroics and your exploits. But they were going to play the victims, the people who were in power, the people who did this. They were going to play the other side of it, and they had actors come in and play them, who they were. And throughout the whole documentary, they go through and they actually like, not like, they kind of do to them, and they kind of show them like what it was like and what it felt like, and you see throughout the documentary like the realization and like the fear, like when they were put into these moments, even when they weren't real and they knew they weren't real, like when they put into that situation, they go like, oh shit. And like by the end, when like the full weight of what they have done had like finally like crashes down on them, it's just like, it's one of the most powerful things I've ever seen to like watch that go down. It's fucking unreal, man. So highly recommend that. That's on Netflix, I believe, right now.
Yeah, that's kind of a similar, another thing that he does in the dark tourism thing is kind of like that, but except it goes in, it's actually a thing to discourage migrants from trying to cross the border, and trying to sneak in with coyotes and stuff, because this actual services or this actual tour that people sign up for is they go through the whole experience of what it's supposed to be like to sneak into the U.S. from Mexico. Mm-hmm. And so they go with like this, like they call him the commander, which is basically like the coyote, if you will, that like guides them or takes them. But it is staged, but it's supposed to be like extremely real. They get rough with you, and they get like, at one point they get robbed. Like they get robbed by these other people on their way over there of all of their stuff. And then they keep going, and then like the border patrol actually ends up coming and like arresting them, and these people are like all freaking out, and like they put them through that experience. And I guess the government encourages that to prevent people from trying to do that.
Yeah.
But it was just weird that people, like, that's a thing, you could go do that. And so I definitely want to watch more of that show as well. And I'll have to check out the one you were just saying, but it's called Dark Tourism.
That sounds like a trip, man.
Yeah.
So Dark Tourism, The Act of Killing, and then to follow that up with the trifecta, once you're done with those two, definitely check out Sacha Baron Cohen's Who is America?
I saw
Holy shit.
I saw little
the
bits
first
of that.
episode. It's fucking crazy, man.
And then what was that guy trying to go back and say later on? Like, he's like, oh, I didn't mean that. I was, being deceived. I was on television, and like trying to like say like, they were trying to get me to say certain stuff. It's like, well, you fucking said it, dude.
Well,
like,
I love that he left in the one where he went to that congressman. He's like, so you want me to say that I support children at the from ages 4 to 12 having guns in the classroom, and you want me to endorse a group that I've never heard of until just now? And he's like, yes. And he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then it cuts to like 7 different congressmen who just were fucking going along with it, including our congressman from right here, Dana Rohrabacher. He is number 2 in there, talking about how he supports the Kindergartens program that teaches
Kindergartens. That's what it was. That's so funny.
That teaches kids ages 4 to 12 how to use a firearm and protect their classroom from school shooters. Yes, that's right, Huntington Beach. This is who you've elected to Congress for the last 30 fucking years. So I could not have been more happy that he went out and just fucking embarrassed the guy.
He's
like
so
that.
good. He's always been like,
You know,
so
it's
fucking
crazy
good.
is that, like, yeah, he is good, but like, he's also not that good in that, like, it's not that convincing to anybody who's like there and watching it. Yet they still fucking go along with it, and he's still just like, he keeps pushing it and keeps pushing it and keeps pushing it, and nobody questions him.
I don't know, man. Like when he did Borat, that was so like, holy shit.
In this one in particular, I'm talking about.
I didn't seen it. I haven't seen it. But with Borat, remember when he went to the fucking when he went to the fucking that what was it? The cow the rodeo and shit.
Yeah.
And he's like doing the national anthem and getting all those fucking people pissed off at him.
Yeah.
Or like when I just
it's basically another series of that directed straight at, like, you know, Capitol Hill. And I could not be more excited for like the rest of the season here. But yeah, it was nuts, man. It was yeah, it feels like vindication every time because this fucking douchebag, Rohrbacher, he's been hiding, you know? He basically doesn't go out, doesn't do public appearances, doesn't really make many statements and stuff like that. He's just trying to chill, and he's been doing that because up until this year, nobody really gave that much of a shit about who their congressman was, you know, especially not in this city. And so the winning strategy for him is just be like, hey, do nothing, keep my giant donors happy, and like don't make appearances, don't, you know, go on TV, don't do debates and shit like that. And so to actually see him pop up by getting tricked by Sacha Baron Cohen into backing the Kindergartens program was just so fucking satisfying, man. Kindergartens, yeah. They had...
He looks like, in that one, from what I saw his face, he just kind of looks like a beat-up, like ex-UFC fighter. Or
he's
Marine,
supposed to be like
a Marine or something like that?
No, he's supposed to be like a former IDF, like, specialist.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he's full Israeli, like, with the accent and everything like that. And it's like, this is what we're doing in Israel to like get our kids ready. And they're just like, oh shit, man, that's a great idea. We should be doing that in America. Like all of them. Like, what? And he'll drop shit like he says like, you know, oh, my son was one of the first participants in the program. May he rest in peace. And then he'll just like keep on talking. They don't fucking stop to question that. Be like, what?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a fucking crazy times. But there is some some satisfying art.
It's on Netflix already too?
No, I stole that shit.
Yeah.
It's on Showtime.
You got it.
It's on Showtime.
Yeah.
You can get from your cable provider for just an easy $45 a month.
So
for the privilege of seeing smash hit shows like Ray Donovan and fucking episodes with Matt LeBlanc.
So anybody listening to this,
you know, all those classics everybody loves.
Anybody listening to this will know now that it is my birthday today.
That's right. Happy, because this is the day, because we record it whenever you listen to it at home.
Yes,
kids. That's
exactly.
right. This is happening live. So happy birthday!
We're doing it live. But so it is my birthday, but it's also the day that Mercury retrograde starts again.
Oh,
and tomorrow is the blood full moon lunar eclipse,
dude.
And our
periods are in sync.
My natal chart. My sun, my moon, and my Mars, which is the most affected by this blood moon, are all in Leo. I'm like a fucking flaming lion coming out and just raging.
Can you like?
It just sounded like I described a gay lion, like a fucking gay lion, just a flaming lion, just coming out raging, like roar.
And
but it's supposed to be some sort of significant shit.
You can catch him at downtown Long Beach this weekend, going after people going, rah.
Yeah, exactly. I was
my
planning
natal
on going
charts are all aligned for you.
I was planning on going to Love Long Beach on Sunday. Bummed I can't make it on Saturday. But anybody who is going to be in the area for Saturday should go to Love Long Beach. Check out all of our friends doing there's like a ridiculous amount of our friends performing at Love Long Beach this Saturday.
It's really crazy. It's like somehow our group, like, we just took over that festival.
Yeah.
At some point. I look at the lineup, I'm like, oh shit. Half those people have been on this show before.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like last year there was a decent amount of them, and now it's like it's pretty much a complete takeover.
Now Kevin's headlining. Like,
yeah.
That's fucking crazy, man.
That is insane. And then we have Base Waffles on Sunday night.
Nice.
So,
you know, I just realized, like, I thought we'd only been going for like 30 minutes, and I just realized, like, oh, it stopped. I stopped following like the ticker that shows me how long it's been. And I'm like, oh no. I just looked over. I'm like, oh wait, no, just kidding, wrong one. It's been an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. This usually happens.
So yeah, no, I'm saying that was good timing with all that.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
It's kind of a natural thing. It's like waking up every morning at the same time without an alarm clock.
That's what it is. It's our circadian rhythms are in sync.
Their circadian rhythm.
Periods are in sync.
Yes.
Man, we are simpatico, hombre.
Simpatico. It's symbiotic.
That's what's up.
Well, yeah. Anyways.
Shit, no, I think that was the plugs, right?
Yeah, I think that
we're
was
gonna
pretty
talk about
much
Love
it.
Long Beach next weekend, and then I don't think we got much else. We got other shows lined up that we'll be recording and launching the next few weeks, so we're getting excited about those.
Yeah. Where
And-
can they find you at?
Oh, well, you know what, people? You guys can find me at Phil Nobody Cares on Twitter, where if you want to stay woke, you know, trust me, I will help you do that, because I am constantly on there making sure everybody knows what's what. Or you can find me on Instagram at Nobody Cares Phil. And that is, I've been using, you know what? I've been getting into stories a lot. Since I got this new phone, I got this Galaxy S9, I fucking love it. And it actually, like, works when, like, I open, you know, Instagram and, like, I want to, you know, share shit and do stuff and take pictures and get it all there. And, like, all the, you know, the, like, photo editing stuff that, like, I can use, like, actually works on this phone. I've, like, never had that before. Like, a phone that could process shit.
Right.
So it's been dope, and I've actually been using, you know, Instagram and shit like that a lot more. So, yeah, go ahead, check me out. Nobody Cares Bill.
There you go.
And while you're at it, make sure you go ahead and follow us at Let It Bleedcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and go ahead and mash that subscribe button like a bunch of times, and then go out and steal people's phones.
Yeah.
That's right. Somebody leaves a phone around you, I give you full permission to take that shit. Go on to their podcast app, subscribe to it, download every episode, and then put it back.
Yeah.
All right? It's like it's a good deed. It's like a Robin Hood kind of thing. It's
So
like
follow us, like us, and Phil if you want to stay woke, and follow me at Hoodrat Stuff if you want to stay broke.
That's
And
what's up.
Psychedelic Lions Den, psychedelic_lions_den. Follow all of my artist friends and stay up to date with all the art in the parks that we got coming up. And I think that's just about it. Thanks for tuning in to our latest episode. And as always, let it bleed.